Yes, the Patriots lost to the Rams, and no, it was not pretty at all, but it wasn't all bad. There were a few bright spots here and there, so we're going to talk about them to make everybody feel better. Mariah, Janos, joined by Evan, Lazar. Evan, I want to start with NKeal Harry. He was targeted just 4 times last night. It's not a lot, but 2 of his catches were very much eye-openers, including that 30-yarder, and this is a guy that people were kind of writing off. I mean, including us. We were kind of just like, he's a lost cause, moving on, but he showed us something last night. What are your thoughts on him as of right now?
As I think the Patriots reporter that has been the most patient with NKeal Harry out of maybe anybody, I finally was starting to lose my patience with him. And of course, he delivers a game like he did last night, where now all of a sudden I feel like he, right back on the train, right? And I think the biggest thing that you're seeing from him over the last couple of weeks, really, this is not just a 1-week thing. I've actually seen signs of improvement with his route running and with his confidence over the last couple of weeks, starting in Houston, I would say. And the main thing that you see is, on top of his usage improving, those double moves that he ran last night on the outside, that's what he did in college. That's what he looked like in college. Was, look, he's not going to be an elite separator at the top of the route, but if you can get into a double move where you allow him to kind of fake out the defender and then get up the field, then maybe he can get some space. And the 3 kind of keys or the 3 check boxes that you look for on those types of routes: you stack the defender, you track the ball, and then you high point it. And that's exactly what he did on that play, and that's what we need to continue to see out of him. And then he had the one over the middle on that 3rd down play where he just kind of uses his size to go above his head and box out the safety coming down. Those are NKeal Harry routes. Those are NKeal Harry plays that we saw in college, and that's what they need to continue to do with him moving forward. I don't want to overreact to just a couple of plays, but at the same time, we haven't really seen anything like that out of him throughout the first 2 years of his career outside of a few flashes. So that's a really optimistic game for NKeal Harry. And you kind of think, development's not always linear, right? It's not always the same pace for every single player. It doesn't always happen as quickly for every single guy. And I'm not saying he's going to develop into a Hall of Fame receiver all of a sudden, but if he can develop into a viable receiver based off of what we've seen over the first, 16, 17 games of his career, then that's a really great development for the Patriots. And maybe they can get something out of him more moving forward than what they've gotten from him so far.
Yeah, it's certainly a silver lining here, seeing him kind of develop in a positive way. Patriots Press Pass is brought to you by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code PressPass20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with the code PressPass20. Take the leap and join the Manscaped movement today. Now, another guy I want to talk about is Myles Bryant. Last night, his interception, when that happened, I was like, Myles Bryant. Okay, I'm into it. This rookie defensive back having an interception. We thought it was a pick 6. It got called back, but that doesn't matter because he showed what he's got last night. What are your thoughts on him now?
Yeah, really in the Charger game too, he played 33 snaps, which was a career high at the time, and he was starting to come on a little bit. They used him more as like a zone defender against the Chargers in the middle of the field. Last night we saw his man coverage skills, which is something that he did really well in college at the University of Washington. The only reason why Myles Bryant went undrafted is because him and I are about the same size, 5'8", 175, right? That's it. That's the only reason. If he was a little bit bigger, a little bit more NFL body type, then he had draftable day all day, every single day. But he just didn't have the frame. He didn't have the size. And that, obviously scares off teams a little bit, especially guys that are probably going to be best at safety or nickel corner that are going to be playing inside the formation. You worry about if he can hold up in the run game. But the Patriots, they, especially by that undrafted phase of the process, they don't really care as much about size and measurables and things like that. So they just took a chance on a guy that had great tape. And so far, he's really lived up to it, I think. I mean, obviously, as an UDFA, it's not going to happen right away. But we saw in training camp, he was always around the ball in camp. He's always around the ball when he gets out there on defense over the last couple of weeks. So really optimistic about him. And it's hard not to be with a UDFA defensive back with the Patriots because they're so good at finding those guys, that go undrafted, Malcolm Butler and J.C. Jackson and John Jones, and you go right on down the line. So maybe Belichick found another diamond in the rough with Myles Bryant. I was shocked when he didn't get drafted last year and really thought that there must have been something else going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about. But it turns out I think it was literally just that he didn't check those measurable boxes that everybody looks for.
Well, I'm glad to see him showing off his stuff now. I love seeing him perform, and that was really fun. So hopefully he's a guy we can keep an eye on and see how he develops in the coming games and maybe the coming years. We'll see. For all of our Patriots coverage, head to clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel over at Patriots Press Pass.